My late GF's best friend, 29 female, and I, 28 male, have been sleeping together. Now she's pregnant. I know PPL are going to call me stuff like A and. Just wanna at least ask to please hold off on it because I already do feel. Lost my girlfriend over a year ago, a few months before COVID lockdown. She was living with a heart condition and needed a transplant. Didn't make it though, and it messed me up. Still messed up actually. This is my first time ever losing someone that I love. Me and her were together since we were 20. Her BFF since high school was there for all of it, and she always understood where I was at in grief. Then COVID made it all even more isolating and depressing. We started chatting often to see how we're doing. Got closer. Pretty soon we were doing movie nights and stuff. Either I came to her place or her mine. We just needed that comfort. We were helping each other with our grief, but also like we became better friends than we were before. One night we got a high and had sex. It was my first time sleeping with someone else other than my girlfriend. We didn't talk for 3 weeks, and then I felt like I missed her, so reached out. We decided to pretend it didn't happen, but then next time we hung out we ended up kissing. And then that just led to sex on the couch. I don't know why, we just decided to not acknowledge what this means, only that it feels good and makes us happy. But continue doing it. It's going on 4 months since this happened, and she called me last night freaking out because she hasn't had her period in a while, so I went to her place. I bought a few pregnancy tests and they're all positive. She's going to the doctor this week, but she told me she's not sure she has it in her to abort. Which means she'll keep the baby, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. She says I'm the only guy she's been sleeping with, but if I feel I need a paternity test to confirm, then she's fine with that. I don't really have any doubts. I know she's an honest person and wouldn't lie to me, but that means I'm gonna be a dad. That means my late GF's friends are going to know we've been sleeping together, and no doubt her family will too. I've already been feeling guilty enough knowing that I am sleeping with someone my GF loved like a sister. Now there's gonna be a baby involved in the mix. Then we haven't even had an actual talk about what we are because we didn't want to acknowledge what we've been doing. It's a whole mess with everything, and it's like I can't focus on one thing at a time. It's freaking me out. I want to feel happy that I'm gonna be a dad because I know I wanted kids at some point in the future. I always hoped it would have been with my girlfriend. I'm sad, guilty and confused tbh. Not sure how I'm supposed to handle any of this right now on top of everything else. Is there really any right way to deal with this? Update. Hasn't been that long, I know, just some new developments. First, thank you everyone for your support and advice. I really appreciate it. We talked all day yesterday and then today too, and it's been a lot in just a few days. She's decided she's keeping the baby, and I told her I want to be involved 100%. She has her first prenatal appointment TMRW. She asked me if I wanted to come, and I said yes. Having time to actually sit down to process this part of me is weirdly excited. Initially all I felt was panic, then thinking of the fact that there's a baby that's part me in there, I don't know, it makes me feel happy. Gonna be involved OFC. It gets more complicated with the fact that there's feelings between us. I've let my mind go there, thinking about all our past interactions even before this started. How much I genuinely enjoyed her company and how she is as a person, not just because she was my girlfriend's best friend. But just how she is as a friend and person in general. Didn't let my mind go there before, but I know now that there are deeper feelings that I wanted to ignore. I kept going, and it was a smart move, but I decided to be open to her about it and confessed how I've been feeling. She's been on the same boat, except she knows her feelings for me are genuine. She's been talking about it to her therapist for a while. But didn't want to say anything since we were sleeping together, and didn't know if for me it was just a physical thing. It was a super long talk, honestly. We didn't even notice how long our convo was. Definitely gonna get back into therapy just to make sure I'm at my healthiest mentally for the baby and get ready to be a parent, then to just deal with everything that's gonna come out from this. For now we want to take things very slow. Try a couple dates and see where things go. We're always gonna be in each other's lives regardless of what happens. We shared our first kiss. I mean, we've kissed many times before, but this the first one since acknowledging what's going on. Then today we had breakfast together. I feel happy and still guilty. Like I don't deserve this. I hope therapy is able to help with it. Reached out to my old therapist I was seeing for grief counseling after I lost my girlfriend, and got an appointment coming up soon. Again, thank you. Story 2. Unsure whether my ex-boyfriend's, 30 male, intentions are with me, 30 female? Advice? Dated ex for about a year and been broken up for almost a year. I was getting not satisfied with the relationship, over text, said I couldn't do it anymore, and he finally pulled the plug on me a month later after medical exams. When he did, he expressed a lot of doubt and still does to this day. He cried too when we broke up. He was initiating a lot of contact recently, wanting to see me and clear the air, but I declined. I ended up responding to one of his messages once and for all about 2 months later. He replied to what I said and then said it has been very difficult from his end. He felt it was the most appropriate thing was to break up, which has been really hard, and he misses me all the time. But what's the alternative? He then went on to say that it's really difficult, but he tries to leave me alone as he doesn't quite know what to do, as he doesn't want to mess with me. He often says he would rather not get into our relationship discussion over text and would much prefer in person. I said that maybe we can revisit it soon and talk in person, and I felt the same regarding talking about this over text. We laughed about a few things like we used to, and he then went on to ask when my exams are and a few other things. Both agreed we need to stop sending each other provoking, relationship-wise messages over text too. Was a hard breakup. We admitted that we still like each other and that we miss each other all the time, and we both have mentioned to each other that if we ever did talk about our relationship again, it's once we've moved on from the hurt. So I don't think it's a 100% final breakup where you never want anything to do with them again. I think because I still to this day felt like we broke up over very odd things and he thought the grass was going to be greener. Sometimes the texts will stop and he'll find a way to contact me weeks or even months later, and it's always about how he's sorry about how things ended and just our relationship in general. He'll never directly ask me how things are unless we speak on the phone. But his texts will be wrapped in "I hope you are truly happy and things are good." His last texts were that he was sorry for a lot of things he did and he still feels guilty about some stuff. That he was serious about us, but he wished he expressed that more. We've had a few hour-long phone calls since the breakup, where it'll be nice to talk, but one of us becomes teary. He always says at the end of the phone call that it was nice to hear my voice. It has been confusing too, because in one of our long phone calls where I was quite upset and angry, he almost accused me of being stalkerish as I mentioned someone from his FB friends. Then the next day he went out of his way to look at an Instagram story of mine. We unfollowed each other after the breakup. Very confusing. Anyway, after he reached out to me recently, I told him that this would be the last of our contact and that to not expect to hear from him. In one of his texts before this, as per usual, he said he can be quite dumb. He reached out recently saying that I'm very special, I did not deserve how he treated me and that he did wrong me and is not asking for forgiveness. Then he reached out sometime after apologizing for the late response, saying it's very kind of me and more than he deserves. He said he recognizes his faults and wants to learn and grow. Advice? Lately he does seem to be more warm to me, or at least in terms of his wrongdoing, and appears to show genuine remorse and almost wanting to better himself for me, but I could be wrong.